We have one more question about marketing tools, and I can tell some words about Russia. Actually, mediation in Russia, it's like a very small flower which is just started to grow. And not so many people know what is it mediation. It's quite popular to go to the lawyer to have an advice, or to go to the court to solve the problem. The courts here are quite cheap, and it's not like in England, it's not like in USA and in many other countries. No one knows about mediation. I can tell like this. And it's very interesting to hear about marketing tools which you are using now, or what maybe you can suggest for the country where mediation is not so popular. Aloysius, can you tell us some words about this?
Well, most of the marketing that I have had to do, I have had to do online. It's a bit self-fulfilling. The reality is, with travel restrictions put in place, even within the country and definitely across borders, the main form of communication for many of us is the internet. It's not really by the telephone. And the people who will see whatever I advertise and market are the ones who will also have that minimum competency to attend online mediations. But to take your point, Elena, I've actually received a lot of inquiries and invites from jurisdictions like Russia, where you are only just exploring mediation. In fact, I have a Russian participant in one of my workshops that I'm rolling out next week, and we have people from other Asian jurisdictions. The only encouragement that I can give is that I actually think COVID and the shift to online has energized the online community, which is a very young community, a very energetic community. And when they get moving in spreading the word, I hate to use the word, but the correct tech term, I think, is it goes viral, literally. And you need to energize the young to help you to do this marketing, to get people to believe in mediation. And the impact of it is something which we cannot imagine if we use traditional marketing to think about it. Yeah.
Exactly. Absolutely agree with you. Christine, maybe you can tell us some words about your experience.
Sure. I agree. So I'm sort of calling it the new era of marketing, at least for me. It's been a shift. I'm a people person, like I imagine a lot of you are, that get into mediation and conflict resolution and working with people on a daily basis. So having to shift to online marketing, which is pretty much what I'm doing, because there are no events in person, has been difficult, but that's what's needed in this environment. So, in thinking about that, it's all about social media presence. It's all about, getting yourself out there. And initially it was about, I'm mediating online, I'm doing Zoom mediations, that's what I'm offering to you, et cetera, et cetera. But like I've heard before, and I agree, there's a little bit now the Zoom fatigue, as I think a lot of us mediators have jumped on Zoom and jumped on online mediation, and as a lot of attorneys now and litigants and participants are now familiar with that. So what I've tried to do is separate myself a little bit by adding content into my online presence of I am a online mediator. So what do I mean by that? Similar to what Jane Player was talking about, I offer my services for pre-mediation conferences, which I offer Zoom or telephone. I'm seeing that now a lot of attorneys who are familiar with Zoom don't want to get back on Zoom for a pre-mediation conference. So offering that flexibility, but I do offer that. I also offer them the opportunity to do a Zoom walkthrough, similar to what I already heard. So I throw that into my online marketing as more substantive way to get myself out there and offering my services there. So I'm doing the speaking and doing all of that, but I put it online. I'm now trying to move into substantive discussion or conversation in what I put out there on how the online mediation works, how it works for specific cases to resolve specific cases. For example, I work on for early mediation, how it works for early mediation, how you need to exchange documents. For example, in California, we don't often do joint sessions. If we do, they're very limited, they're very carefully planned, and parties often don't want to exchange a lot of documents. They put a lot on the mediator to help them through that. Well, in an early case, in a pre-litigated case, for example, that's very difficult. So I try to walk the parties through an exchange of documents. Well, if it's an exchange of documents at the time of a Zoom mediation, how are we going to do that? So I try to put a lot of information out there in either an article or a presentation, for example, and how we're going to do that. E-exchange, the opportunity to share documents on Zoom. So what I'm saying is I try to get the substantive information out there in my advertising to walk them through. Someone said it's educating the client, it's working with the client, it's showing the client, it's being flexible with the client on their needs. So I've sort of stopped saying, I'm just an online mediator, and I've started saying, I'm an online mediator, let me help you with your particular needs and issues, and let's walk through the issues together in a substantive way. So that's sort of how I've been using the marketing now, having evolved from day 1 to day 90.
Do you use social media for this content? Yes.
Yeah, so I work with a mediation company, so they have a full database where they're putting out articles for us and all of that, but I do use social media. I use LinkedIn and Facebook as my two sort of platforms, but then I'll email my clients as well in terms of specific information. I try to sort of spread it out, and then of course speaking engagements, articles. So I try to have a wealth of and a breadth of what I'm getting out there.
Oh, thank you so much, Kristen. Jane Gunn, maybe you can tell us some words about your marketing, your tools, or...
Yes.
Yeah.
So similar to Kristen, I've been using LinkedIn and Facebook for a while, but I've spent more time, I suppose, on social media the last few weeks, so that's been interesting. I've actually, Jane, Claire, and Andrew will know that I've been creating videos actually, and I've been enjoying making mini videos for my clients. I've made one which is how to win at mediation, so that's one that can be sent to lawyers, but their clients can also watch it, and it gives them some tips and tools about how to prepare for a mediation. So I'm finding creating mini videos is quite a good way to get bite-sized pieces of information across when people are short of time. So I've been enjoying doing that.
And they're fans.
Speaking. Pardon?
And they're fabulous.
Oh, thank you, Jane. Thank you.
I'm a fan as well.
Oh, thank you, Andrew. Yes, I made a series of 10 mini videos specifically for lockdown, and I've been sending those out as a freebie to clients and potential clients, which has been quite good fun. So I'm always trying to inject the positivity and fun into mediation, and those are the same. So that's really what I do. I'm happy to speak. I love speaking at events, so that's what I do. I just feel there's a very powerful message to get across. So speaking, writing, and making videos is me.
So I hope we all will be your fan. The fun videos.
I'm happy to put the link in the box if you'd like it. I've got a link somewhere. I had it up. Oh, here's it. I'll post it.
Jane has so many fans.
Andrew, maybe you can tell us some words about your marketing, if you have something special.
Well, I remember, and it wasn't in mediation, but I think it was like 2012, maybe a bit before, I had a case where I got to cross-examine someone who was very famous. And my solicitor said, wow, this is going to be fantastic for your LinkedIn. And I said, what's LinkedIn? At which point he called me an absolute dinosaur and couldn't believe I wasn't on it. So that was in 2012. I did go on it, but I didn't really start using it until I decided, I suppose, 5 years ago, to dip my toes in the mediation pond. And I've found LinkedIn to be absolutely fabulous. It's given me contacts, it's taken me to different places, it's got me mediations. But most importantly, the mediation world is very difficult to get into. I saw it when I came into it. I'd seen it for over 20 years because I'd been using mediators, and I knew very much who the top table of mediators were in the UK. You have two of them sitting here with you. And that top table, you're not going to get an invitation to come and sit at it. So I knew that I had to go and buy my own chair, and I had to drag it as close to the top table as I could get until they started talking to me. I actually told that story once to a friend who then turned around and said, what dinner was this at? And I said, you haven't been listening to a word I've been saying, have you? So it's very important. It's very important to get your name out there. But I think it has to be something more than that. And there has to be something that causes people or allows people to trust you. So there is so much content on LinkedIn. There's got to be something a little bit more than that. And I think the way I've done it, and I've never engaged a consultant, but I've talked to people who work with it, is you have to show your human side. So there are so many. I mean, in fact, what there were at the beginning of lockdown, and there still are, was so many videos of how to do a remote mediation. And in a sense, well, it's press the button and you're on Zoom. And so for example, I had to find a different angle to it, I felt. And the angle I took was why you should be mediating now during this COVID process. But you can't just do that. And what Jane talks about with hers, with her videos, she shows who Jane Gunn is. Not just Jane Gunn mediator, Jane Gunn the person. And I think that's the key to getting known and to getting accepted, and to me to being trusted. Because if you're not trusted in this game, then you're not going to get any retainers. But I actually take away from this more than anything that I think in Russia you said your flowers, and in Switzerland you said you're the sauce that holds the dish together. And I think that's I can't think of the metaphor for us cauldron of mediators, and perhaps the two Janes can come up with one for England.
Thank you so much. I think we should ask John Mitchell about marketing tools. John?
Well, I'm learning so many, I need to use so many tools that you guys are using. That's wonderful. So the tool that I tell my students is mediate, get out there. But unfortunately, these are unpaid opportunities, but they're experience gaining opportunities. And that's probably why Los Angeles produces a lot of mediators worldwide, is because people come to Los Angeles to go to Pepperdine or USC, which have wonderful programs. And the LA court system is the largest in the country, and they don't like to pay mediators. So there's a lot of opportunity to gain experience and to get out there. And so that's what I like to do is I offer a lot of free services, and then in turn gets me out there and my name known. But offering the free mediations also gives me the leeway to experiment and try things that are untraditional. Traditionalists would have a fit with some of the things that I do, in mediation. Now, I am trained in the transformative method. I do like joint sessions and getting parties together, but I've been finding that advocates and lawyers can handle the situation quite well. And so with all this extra time on my hands, I've been studying about emotional intelligence and getting into the whole aspect about that. And one of the things that Daniel Goleman writes is that stress makes people stupid. And so, you know, I've been trying to keep the clients who need to be smart about the decisions they make as calm as possible, because I know that with any court process, people tend to get stressful. And so what I've been doing is having joint sessions without the clients telephonically. And so that's been working very effectively for me, and getting out there and designing a process that the client actually wants to use. So I'm very, very flexible in that kind of thing. But the main thing is to you know, satisfy the parties, but the lawyers seem to be the client in terms of controlling, you know, who gets the mediation. But getting out there is the key. And so Jane Gunn's method of with the videos, that's the best way to get out there in terms of without having to spend time with every potential client. That's a wonderful tool, it sounds like to me. But I like to get out there and mix it up like Kristen does. I'm a people person too, but I'll tell you what, I'm going to be a telephone person from now on, I believe.
Thank you so much, John.